Hello, hello. I'm just waiting for my public view to update here. I'm sure it will in a second. Here we go. Alright, so I guess I'm live. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the stream. I see I've got a few people in the chat already. That is awesome. I appreciate you waiters. I noticed I had some waiters for this stream. Yeah. Hot Hat Han says, spoiler, it was bad. It was really bad. I have to say I disagree. This episode was one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones. Oh my god, it was bad. It was fucking bad. Hello, Miss Sad Song. I'm stoked to see you again. You're on my last stream. Hello, Uncompetitive, You Day, Ball Bars, you with the the name that's not an Arabic characters, Hot Hans, Mike Sakos, Diego Perez. Hello, hello. Yeah, this episode was bad. As far as my ranking, as far as how bad it was on a Game of Thrones scale, I have to say it was better than the last episode because it didn't actively really destroy any characters, but it's still like a -50, somewhere around there. Hello, hello, Outsider21. Nice to see you. Says, I knew it would be bad since season 7, but it was much worse. Yeah, this season surprised me. Even after season 7. Season 7 was kind of bad. And I was kind of expecting season 8 to not be that great. But it surprised me how bad season 8 was. I mean, I was shocked. When episode 3 happened, I was shocked. Like, episodes 1 and 2 were bad, and I was kind of disappointed in episode 1 and 2. But after episode 3, I was shocked, and somehow it got worse from there. I couldn't believe it. Hello, Keith. Good to see you. Hello, Mark. Hello, Timberwolf. And EJ. I'm actually uploading my rant video for episode 6 right now, so it's constraining my bandwidth. So if there's any problems with the stream, please let me know, and I'll try to fix them on the fly. Hello, Papa Bless and Theodore and Hisperd. And Gilgazord and Citravond and Unfair and Lovely. It's so nice to see you. I'm so numb and I don't feel like anything anymore. That is my exact feeling, and you'll see that when I get my rant video up. That should be up by the end of this stream. That rant video that I made. By the time this stream ends, that video should be up, so it won't be so terrible to see me leave. Now, let's start ranting about episode 6. Only scene I liked when Jon petted Doggo. That was so unearned that I couldn't enjoy it. Because oh my god. Jon completely ignored Ghost in episode 4. And then he would just come back and just act like that hadn't happened. That pissed me off. I thought that was bullshit. Diego Perez, the least liked Stark, suddenly became the ruler of all 6 kingdoms. He's basically the medieval version of the NSA. We'll get to that. I want to start off with this. I put this over there, that screen cap over there. I put this up because basically from second 1 of episode 6, nothing makes any fucking sense. We saw in the last episode that Dany destroyed the Red Keep. James Schultz says, will your videos be taken down because of the comments? No, absolutely not. But Dany destroys the Red Keep in the last episode. And Tyrion's just waltzing around in there. And there's just like little piles of rubble here and there. Bullshit. And he finds their bodies. there's supposedly 1 million people who live in King's Landing, and he finds Cersei and Jaime's bodies. When that happened, I knew this episode was going to be bad. Who writes this? Who writes this shit? I mean, come on. Ballbar says, my wife said I'm obsessed with GOT rants. Here I am up 5:30 a.m. listening to more rants. I'm not obsessed. You're obsessed. This episode made me feel dead inside. Yes. But I was already dead inside. The thing with this episode, I was surprised how much I didn't want to watch it. And I'm not kidding. When I sat down to watch it, I was like, you know what? I really don't want to do this. Like, it was painful. Like, the previous 2 episodes I can kind of laugh at, because after episode 3 I kind of checked out. But this episode was painful, because, you know, it's the last one. And the Game of Thrones was my favorite show of all time. And they've ruined it. They've ruined it. Dumb and Dumber, the writers have ruined it. After Outsider says, after first 3 episodes, I was furious. After episode 4 and 5, I stopped caring. After episode 6, I enjoyed because it was so cringy. Yeah, I wish I could, but I just couldn't because it, you know, Game of Thrones used to be my favorite show. Bran is the collective consciousness of the children of the forest. They won. I fucking wish. But that wasn't even hinted at, that Bran has some kind of ulterior motive. So, I don't think there's anything to it. I'm done theorizing about this stupid-ass show. Yes, the ending was awkward as hell. Hello, Lindsay and Antok. Thanks for joining the stream. Shouldn't the Dothraki start pillaging, raping women since their Khaleesi is dead? Yeah, that's something I addressed in my rant. They just forgot about the Dothraki after, like, minute 20. Who knows what they're doing? I guess they're pillaging and raping the fucking kingdoms. Wisdom Minari! My boy! You were on Anomaly's stream the other day. Thank you for the super chat. Why didn't anyone kill Jon? He was burned in season 1. Also, Drogon could have bit, clawed, stomped anything him. Also, Grey Worm would have destroyed Jon in a fight. Yeah, the big thing there is, why didn't anyone kill Jon? That makes no fucking sense. Jon very overtly killed Daenerys. And clearly the Unsullied took him into custody later on. And they still had him in custody when they were having that meeting, which makes no sense. How long was the time period between when Jon kills Daenerys and they have that meeting in the courtyard? I just don't follow that. Grey Worm was very loyal to Daenerys. He was loyal to Daenerys and only Daenerys, basically. So when Grey Worm finds out that Jon Snow killed Daenerys, Jon Snow's a fucking dead man. He's going to execute him right there and then. There's no fucking way that Jon survives up to that meeting. So, and why even have him survive if they just send him back to the Night's Watch anyway? It's like, all right, Jon, you survived all of this shit. You've saved countless lives. You've been through so much in this show, but fuck you, back to the wall. Your watch was ended, not anymore. It's starting back over. I don't know, man. I don't know. EJ says a few weeks, apparently. Yeah, and it's very unclear because, like, it seems like a big portion of King's Landing has been rebuilt. When they have the scene at the docks, like, you can glimpse a lot of King's Landing off to the side, and it's like, it looks like it's in pretty fucking good shape. So I don't know if that was intentional, or if they were just insanely lazy when they were shooting this episode. That, they went back to, where's this shot? It's on the tip of my tongue, it's in Croatia. Dubrovnik. It's like they went back to Dubrovnik, and they were, like, too lazy to CGI the buildings to be destroyed again. I don't know. Yeah, I hate how they made Jon go back to the wall after all his character growth. Yeah, well, D&D hate your character growth. No character growth in the show. Everybody just goes back to the way they were before. And Grey Worm, yeah, and Grey Worm just allowing them to vote. I'm getting ahead of myself. I really want to talk about this Tyrion thing. But Grey Worm just... Why is Grey Worm okay with any of the stuff that's going on? It doesn't make any sense. Why is Grey Worm just sitting there like, yeah, that's fine. You guys can elect a new king. I'll have no fucking say in it. Even though I'm a loyal servant of Daenerys Targaryen, who Jon Snow killed, I'm going to let you set him free. I'm going to let you elect a new king. And Grey Worm's just standing there like, okay, whatever. I'll go along with that. Oh, man, that's such bullshit. That is such bullshit. The writers just gave up. They gave the fuck up. All right, where are we? OMG, a cow says every character regressed. Yes. Because the writers can't write. They can't do character development. They just go right back to the way they were. Just like Jamie. Okay. So, Sheeta G, I'm glad you're live. I needed this. You are very welcome. Thanks for joining the stream. Thanks for joining the stream. Thanks for joining the stream. Skydome, thanks for joining the stream. The books are very different. Yes, I'm aware. I'm a lot more excited for the books now that I know the show is garbage. Anbu Senpai, thanks for joining. What was up with the Bran dialogue? He didn't want to be king of anything. Well, now he does. Remember, like, what was it, 2 episodes ago? Bran says, I don't want any more. Well, fuck that! I want to be king! Daniel Knutson, thanks for joining the stream. I'm more entertained by people critiquing... God damn it, I can't talk today. Guys, I've been burning out on making the video all day, and I have like a day job too, so I was doing normal work, and then I was also working on my rant video all day, which again it's uploading right now. Should be uploaded by the time the stream is over. So I'm a little bit burned out. That's why I have the soda here. I don't normally drink soda, but I need the caffeine. All right. Daniel Knutson says, I'm more entertained by people critiquing the show than the actual show. Well, I'm glad I can be of use. Varys and Tyrion had a stroke in between the season that made them lose all their IQ. Tyrion and Varys and Littlefinger and all of the really smart characters, they all had a stroke after season 4. So, was there... Yeah. Silvio Roman, thanks so much for joining the stream and pointing this out. Was there any point in R plus L equals J? No. There was no fucking point whatsoever to R plus L equals J. Not only that, but there was no fucking point whatsoever to Bran telling Jon about his lineage. Or Bran didn't do it directly, he went through Sam. But the point stands. Why did Bran do that? It leads me to believe... Makes me want to believe that Bran has an ulterior motive. That, yeah, maybe the children of the forest are possessing him now, and now they have their lands back or whatever. They rule again in Westeros. Unfortunately, I don't think the writers have thought that far, so... yeah, like I said, I'm done theorizing about the show. I'll theorize about the books, because the books are still pretty smart, but the show, I'm done. Cool Night King says we should read the books now. Oh god, I lost my place. It's so hard to keep up with the chat. All right. That scene where they have their little council meeting was puke-worthy. Oh my god, was it? I had the fanfiction-o-meter for episode 5. I don't know how many of you guys have seen that rant video that I made. But for episode 5, I had the fanfiction-o-meter, and during the Clegane Bowl, it blew up. I couldn't have the fanfiction-o-meter in this most recent episode, because it would just be constantly exploding, and I didn't have the graphical processing power to render all of that. So that's why there's no fanfiction-o-meter in the next one. What did Varys hear in the flames? Well, fuck you, the boy, for asking, because nobody knows. Alright, if they made Bran evil at the end, it would have made it a tiny bit better, I agree. But they were intent on writing the worst possible ending, and they succeeded. It's the only thing that D&D has ever succeeded at, but they succeeded. I tuned out once the Hound died. Dude, I tuned out long ago. Why not send Arya to free Jon and Tyrion, given she's a ninja assassin Wolverine? Because plot. They had everyone but Hot Pie in that meeting. Yep. Yeah, everyone. It did not make sense. The people who were at that meeting. Why was Brienne there? Why was Sam there? Why was Davos there? There's a couple characters I have no fucking clue who they are, so I don't know why they're there. Drogon pulls a Jon and Rhys at the throne. Oh, you're hilarious. Thanks for joining the stream, Dan. The Dragon Pit scene was laughable. The writing was absolutely hideous. It was porn film level writing. Yeah. Bitter endings. Jon Snow should have come back after the Unsullied went to Noth. R plus L equals shit. Yes, Sweet Robin was there, but who cares? I mean, he doesn't matter to the story whatsoever. He makes no difference, just like virtually all the other characters. Reading the books, I always assumed Jon would become king beyond the wall, so I'm happy with this conclusion. I don't think in the books there's going to be a king beyond the wall. I think the wildlings are going to cross over to the south, and that's going to be it. They're not going to go back. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. But if they go back, it's going to be for story reasons. It's going to delve into the lore of the story, like where do the White Walkers come from, or the others, that kind of thing. But it's not like, and it doesn't make any sense why. Why is it that the wildlings want to go back north of the wall? They were given the gift by Lord Commander Jon Snow of the Night's Watch. So they have all this farmable land south of the wall. And they're just going back north. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. Did anyone else notice the token Prince of Dorne? Talk about Westworld Season 3. HBO would really like that. They would really like that. They're like, They want people to ignore the dumpster fire that Game of Thrones was, and they want people to focus on Westworld, but I refuse. I might talk about Westworld Season 3 toward the end of the stream, though. Now I can see Sir Davos being there, but Bran should be with Sansa. Davos is not... maybe he represents Jon, but that was not clear at all. Bran says, I'm going to see where Drogon is, and seconds later he does nothing, like always. OMG a cow. I had no clue who like 3 or 4 people at that meeting were. Yeah, a whole bunch of people at that meeting were never introduced. They make no difference to the story. They're pointless. Nuclear Sharpshooter says, love your content. If you do keep making videos, love to see you review any other good shows. I appreciate that. This channel's not going to be focused on shows, but story writing is somewhat of a passion of mine, so you can expect more videos like that in the future. How can they send people to Night's Watch when it's now in another kingdom? Yeah, well, how can they send people to Night's Watch at all? Like, what's the point of the Night's Watch, right? The Night King is defeated, the White Walkers are gone, the Wildlings have made peace, and they have... Pepperidge Farm members. The Wildlings have made peace, and they have the gift. So why is there a Night's Watch? What does the Night's Watch do anymore? It wasn't that bad, people. Episodes 4 and 5 were far worse. Episode 5 in particular was worse, yes, because it destroyed a staple character. And this episode didn't do that. It just made Bran king for some fucking reason. All right, so let me point this out. Tyrion goes to the Red Keep, and in the last episode, it had completely collapsed. It was rubble. And yet, here, Tyrion is able to just... I skipped a little too far ahead. Tyrion is able to find Cersei and Jaime's corpses. What the hell? Oh, and then we skip to this part. Where Daenerys is looking over her kingdom Because she's ruler of the Ashes now. And I got like major like Empire from Star Wars vibes going on, or like First Order. I mean, there's even like a part where it zooms in on her, like at the top of the steps, and it has the Targaryen flag, and it's like the same color scheme as like the First Order. So I just thought that was kind of funny. It seemed kind of derivative. I don't know. I guess maybe D&D's that's on their mind since they're working on the new Star Wars franchise. If Jaime and Cersei stood 10 feet to the right, they would have lived. Yeah. Oh my god, that's a funny. I wish I put that in my review. Yeah, they would have lived if they stood 10 feet to the fucking right. If they fleshed out the magical element and how magic affects the world around them, I can see Bran being in a position of power. Since he can commune with magic, but as master storyteller, no. Yes, like virtually everything in this show, it wasn't developed. And it was hinted, and this pisses me off, it was hinted that the Night King had something to do with the Faith of the Seven. That the Faith of the Seven wasn't complete bullshit. I mean, we know that the old gods are Bloodraven, and now Bran, I suppose. Looking through the weirwood trees. We know that there is something to the Red God. We don't know where this power comes from, but we know there is power there. He can set shit on fire. He can bring people back to life. So the Red God, there's something to the Red God. I think in the books, most likely, that's going to be fleshed out a bit more, and I think they all kind of have something to do with each other. I don't think George R. R. Martin would write a literal god, but I do think that it's very likely that there's going to be elements of magic that are sort of pushing events in a certain direction. So I think that's going to be something that's interesting, that I'm very anxious for the next book for. Ruizu? Thank you for joining the stream. You say the leaks spared my emotions. I'm now hollow and numb. I didn't read the leaks because I wanted to experience this episode. I don't know if I regret that or not. I think I would have had a terrible time regardless. I may have had a worse time if I knew what was going to happen, because it was so stupid. We still need a Master of Whispers, says the guy who can literally see everybody's intentions at all times in present and past. Catfoy says, I think George R. R. Martin once mentioned that he will never feature gods. Yeah, maybe that's true. It's very hard to write. It's very hard to write gods well. I think that Brandon Sanderson, who wrote the Mistborn series, I think he actually did a reasonably decent job doing the whole writing gods thing, because there are literal gods that are characters in those books. So I'm glad that those books exist, because it's so hard to write gods well, and writers usually just leave them intentionally ambiguous because there's no way to explain a god's power and have it be satisfying. So the reason that D&D didn't do any explanation whatsoever and just left it entirely 100% ambiguous is because they're not good writers, and they don't know what to write as far as that goes. PBX says, Dothraki became peaceful, decided to go to market in the future and settle down, I guess. Just hearing the market picking up kale, ho-hum. Oh, that'll be a good spin-off show. GOT needed 9 full 10-episode seasons to tell the story the way it deserved. Well, given the amount of source material there is, and given the amount of source material there is going to be, I think there's going to be more than 2 more books. I don't think George R. R. Martin can wrap this up in 2 more books, because it's just so sprawling and there's so much shit going on. I do think that Game of Thrones could have gone on for like 7 more seasons, and it wouldn't have gotten stale, as long as the writing didn't degrade the way it did. I wouldn't say that about very many shows, but Game of Thrones always felt like it had a predefined endpoint that it was trying to get to. Turns out I was fucking wrong, but it always felt like that, so it never felt like it was dragging. Yeah, 2 extra episodes wouldn't have been enough. Hey, it's a bad idea to be ruled by someone who controls dragons. It's too much power. I know, let's elect the omniscient, emotionless, magical kid instead. Yeah, and by the way, in Game of Thrones story terms, Bran's like 15. So that makes even less sense that all of these people at this meeting would vote for him. Have you heard Kit Harington? Have you heard Kit Harington's take on the petition? No, I haven't. Yes, yeah. Put a link there. That'll be interesting to see. Oh, here you go. Here it is. Here's the where I was getting Star Wars vibes. This looks exactly like that scene in The Force Awakens where you have all the stormtroopers lined up, and then there's like the First Order flags, and then you have like the the bad guy, standing at the top, like giving a speech to everyone. And they one up Star Wars by putting in a fucking dragon too. Bran the Broken, so lame but a convenient all-purpose mythology made up on the spot to sell the narrative. Yeah, there's a lot of mythology in A Song of Ice and Fire, the book series, and virtually none of it is included in the show. Again, because I think D&D are hacks and they can't write. I'm going to check my video is almost uploaded, guys. So once this stream is over, you guys can go watch that. Doesn't... Oh, this is a good still. Danny has like a resting bitch face here. Oh, that's just amusing. And right here at this point, Jon has every opportunity to just stab her in the back. It makes no sense to me that Jon, after seeing what he has seen, Jon was on the ground, the Lannisters had surrendered, they were ringing the bells, when he saw Daenerys leap from the tower and start mowing everyone down. He was there and he saw precisely what happened. He doesn't need a conversation with Tyrion. In my mind, he doesn't need a conversation with Tyrion to convince him that he needs to kill Daenerys. That would be like I think that's enough when you watch someone commit genocide right in front of you. Michael A. says, love the show, hated the season. But if this is the ending GRM wanted, can we hate on the ending or just the way it was told? I'm not sure that this is the ending that George R. R. Martin wanted, although he was in regular contact with D&D while the show was being written. I certainly think there's quite a few differences in here, but I think a lot of the main points that they're hitting are George R. R. Martin ideas. The main issue is that D&D, how they wrote up to it, the setup they did was totally failed and totally botched. So that is the main reason that this entire season just falls flat. And frankly, last season. And season 6 was weak and season 5 was weak. It's because they fucked up. They keep fucking up these setups, which leads to a botched payoff. Wisdom and Ari, thank you so much for the super chat. They were reaching for the fascist imagery, especially since every monarch they had was a dictator, more or less. Yeah. They were reaching for the fascist imagery, and they weren't doing it in a smart way. Right? It was pulled straight out of like The Force Awakens, Star Wars. It was very over the top. It was like a Disney cartoon, basically. There's no subtlety here, right? There's no ambiguity to what Daenerys did. George R. R. Martin will not. I 100% guarantee you, I will bet everyone in the chat $1 million each that Daenerys will not just randomly start slaughtering everyone in the city for no reason in the books. That's not going to happen. There will be moral ambiguity to whatever does happen, even if she does go Mad Queen. There is no ambiguity to any of this. They may as well be playing the Imperial March when Daenerys is giving her speech, because she's pure stone fucking evil. she's basically literally Hitler. So, yeah. They were reaching for the fascist imagery, and I suppose they succeeded technically, but they failed to make it not laughable. Tom Waters, they were reaching for sure. Stop this madness in the name of your king! Liam Moulton says, the way it was told. So, end of Lord of the Rings, Frodo destroys the ring. But if he stood at Osgiliath, I don't know how to pronounce that actually, and used a slingshot to shoot the ring into Mount Doom, we would have all been pissed off. Oh man, life was better when the Baratheons were on the throne. Yeah, the entire series has been a waste. Right? What was the point? What was the point? It would have been better to just leave Robert on the throne. Yeah, Flake, thanks for joining the stream. Bran doesn't want to be king, yet he comes to King's Landing specifically to be selected as king. Is it potentially good writing in that Bran is actually like a secret villain? Or is it just shit writing and it doesn't apply to anything? Probably the latter. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. So this is the point. I love Tyrion's face in this shot. This is the point where Tyrion faces Daenerys, and Daenerys is like, she's like, you freed your brother, you committed treason. And he's like, yeah, I freed my brother, and you slaughtered a city. And he takes off his pin and he throws it. I mean, yeah, I don't have any problem with what Tyrion did at that moment. There's no secret that I have a problem with what Daenerys did. But look at his face. That is hilarious. He's just like, done. I love that. I love that expression he has. Daenerys says, take him. And Jon just watches on. Jon just fucking watches. After what Jon has seen, whatever. Now the nobles get to pick kings, plus so easy for a king to change rules back to before. There's another problem that I have with the way they did it. Remember when Tyrion was concerned about the line of succession? Right? He was concerned that if Daenerys took the throne when she eventually died, if she didn't have any kids, there'd be a war. So their plan is now to not have a line of succession, and instead pick a new king every time the king dies. What the fuck? It's like, I guess Tyrion kind of forgot about the line of succession. EJ says, worst dialogue of the whole season. Yeah, and that's saying something. Yeah, actually, I 100% agree with that. Full stop. Baddest Salmon, thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, why did Arya leave? Why is she Captain Marvel now? The reason Arya left for King's Landing was that so she could be a viewpoint character for the audience in episode 5. There was no other reason, because she does nothing. Her arc in King's Landing is pointless. She does nothing. Raining Glass, we need a master of whispers. Did Bran just kind of forgot that he can literally see everything? Apparently. Yeah, Drafter says, what makes zero sense is that for the past 6 seasons, she's been against killing innocents. She's lost her unborn baby, husband, or brother, and her dragon, and she never got mad. Yeah. Well, now the plot demands that she become mad, so now she's mad. And fuck you for questioning it, Drafter. Tom Waters, I feel bad for Peter Dinklage. He went from such a multi-layered character. Yes. I mean, I feel bad for all the actors on this show, because they all had great characters. Every single one of them was a great character. And honestly, if I were Barristan, I would feel glad that I was killed off in season 5. That's the perfect time to be fucking killed off. Because everyone else, including the characters who technically survived, their characters were still killed off. Over between seasons 5 and 8, every single character was killed off in some way. That no one survived. There were no survivors. Sophie Turner said the petition is disrespectful. Yeah, it is. That's the point. Bilbo Baggins says we need to do something to stop Dumb and Dumber Star Wars trilogy. They've done enough damage already. Man, I'm glad I'm not really a Star Wars fan. Because now I can sit back and just watch and get the schadenfreude of D&D destroying someone else's favorite franchise. Okay. This is the other reason that Arya was in King's Landing, I guess, was so that she could stop Jon and be like, Jon, you need to kill Daenerys. Okay. Because he needs to be convinced. And here's Jon in the cell they created for Tyrion. I also have a problem with how if Daenerys is this mad, why isn't she already arrested Jon? Because I thought one of the things that led up to her being mad was that she gave up on her love for Jon because he wouldn't return her affections. So why isn't she already arrested and executed Jon by this point? Why is she keeping him around? Why is she just letting him roam freely? I don't understand. But anyway, they're in the cell, they're having this conversation, and Tyrion is having to convince Jon. Tyrion says, oh, she killed all these people and then no one cared. And you know what? That's like a fuck you to the audience. That line of dialogue that Tyrion was given, that's like a fuck you to the audience, and it pissed me off. Because Tyrion's like bringing up all these times that Daenerys has killed people. It's like, yeah, we know. We're not fucking stupid. It's like, it's trying to put down all the people who they knew would say Daenerys would never do that. It's bullshit, and it pisses me off. But anyway, Jon says, at one point, Jon says, oh, Cersei gave her no choice. What? What is wrong with Jon? Like, Jon's gone mad too. There was no reason. Cersei didn't give her choice. Daenerys had every choice. She had already won the war. She'd already won. The bells were ringing. King's Landing had surrendered. The Lannisters had thrown down their swords. Jon was there on the ground. There's no ambiguity there. She just committed genocide for no fucking reason. Sansa looked like she was doing cosplay. OMG, a cow, that conversation is pretty much the letters breaking the fourth wall. Yep. Jon, of all people, should know there's always a choice. 100%, yeah. And Jon has been in these really, like, morally tough situations. Like when he had to kill Qhorin Halfhand. That was a tough situation where he was forced to do it. Right? There's ambiguity there. So that's an example of a morally gray action with a morally gray character. And we know that Jon's generally good, but he does do some, questionable things. Daenerys, on the other hand, she apparently just turned stone evil out of fucking nowhere. It would be, like I said in my Daenerys Isn't Mad video, it would be equally as believable to me if Jon were to just randomly start slaughtering people. Raby760 says, Jon has always been an independent thinker, always stood up for what he knew was right, despite no matter how many people disagreed with him, but for some reason needed convincing on this one topic. 100%. Yeah, and Jon made some tough fucking decisions when he was Lord Commander. Decisions that nobody agreed with him on. He didn't need convincing, right? He just knew it was right, so he did it. So this is why Jon wouldn't need convincing here. I mean, he knows what Daenerys is. He wouldn't need convincing here. I think this is stupid, and this is undermining Jon's character, because the writers just have to undermine everyone's character. J-Bear says, and thank you for joining the stream, J-Bear, I actually like the idea that she just kept getting more and more brutal in her methods and more black and white in her views, but the show didn't do that. They just pretended they did after. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that Daenerys decided to stay in Meereen for the sake of her people in Meereen. It's not like power was the only thing on her mind, because she made sure that Meereen was safe before she left. And it wasn't that long ago. Aaron Albano says, where did Varys' letters go? You know, I gotta say, I actually forgot about that. Technoguy 3 just kind of forgot about Varys' letters. So yeah, what was the point of Varys' fucking letters? That's another thing that didn't make it into the video, but it's a longer rant than my past few, so there's a lot of shit in that video, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Why did Varys die? What did Varys die for? That doesn't make any sense. Because no one at that meeting is sitting there demanding that Jon Snow be king. So what did Varys die for? If he was gonna go out like that, it should have been for a purpose, right? But fucking subversion, I guess. People claim that Drogon was intelligent enough to reason that the throne is the real reason Dany died. Yeah, it is supposed to be like symbolic and shit. Yeah, the Dany died for the throne, so I'm going to destroy this throne. Yeah, in the show, the dragons are intelligent, supposedly, even though they don't really do much out of their own free will. But like in the books, they're basically, I mean, they're just animals. They're as smart as dogs. But in the show, they're more intelligent than men, some say. So yeah, that's why they did that. And it's kind of dumb, because when they destroyed the Iron Throne, I thought the idea was like, there is no more Iron Throne, so there's no ruler of the kingdoms. But they just fucking made Bran the ruler. So fuck that idea. Tom Waters says, the ending also made me feel bad for Jon Snow's character arc. It literally went around in concentric circles only to flame out with a whimper. Why was he brought back from the dead again? Yeah, that's another thing. All of the setup in this story has led to nothing. That's why people hate this season so much. It's because it's like, okay, 7 seasons of setup. We're talking 9 years, folks. And it's all led to this? What is this? This is nothing. Yeah, OMG account, she could have went to King's Landing in season 4 if she cared about power more than anything. Yeah. Raby760 says Daenerys stayed in Meereen because the show writers weren't ready for her to go to Westeros. I think there is an element of that, because for whatever reason in the show they sped up Daenerys' storyline. Like at this point in the books, Jon Snow's already dead, but Daenerys is still under siege. So like she's ahead in the show as compared to the books, which is interesting. So I think that, they did that. They weren't ready to have her fly over to fucking Westeros. They should have planned better. But that's a tall order from Dumb and Dumber. I was kind of pissed that Tyrion and Dany were constantly telling Jon, yes, you know, yes, you know. Like this you-know-nothing Jon Snow reference was too on the nose. I honestly didn't pick up on that. But yeah, you're probably right. The SJWs were pissed too, but the way they emasculated Jon was deplorable. Yeah, I'm 100% in line with the most radical feminists on the issue of Daenerys. They destroyed her character. Bran knew about the genocide and warned no one. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, we still don't know exactly how his powers work because they're never explained. Like, nothing is explained. It's all nihilism. Feral Wave, I think you're onto something. That is why writing sucks these days. Because they're just like, nothing really fucking matters. God, it's annoying. I would have bought Dany and Jon's romance if it was just a physical thing. Well, one of the... I would buy it more in the books, just for the simple fact that I don't think that Kit Harington and Emilia Clarke actually like each other. If you watch some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, Emilia Clarke is like this really jokey, bubbly person. And Jon Snow and Kit Harington is actually kind of like Jon Snow. He's kind of a cynical guy. So when she does her Emilia Clarke thing, he just kind of rolls his eyes. And I don't think Kit Harington really likes her. So that's why everything feels so awkward between them. They do not want to kiss. In real life, they do not want to kiss. So, like, I don't know that their characters have that much romantic capability to begin with, but it makes it all the worse that the actors don't like each other. All right, I'm just reading through some of your comments here. Unknown X says, I have too much to say about this ending, but I don't know how to break it down because my English sucks. Hey, so does mine. They should have given Drogon the voice of Sean Connery. They may as well. And then he could go on a monologue about how why he destroyed the Iron Throne. Dany and Meereen was boring. What should have happened was the introduction of Lady Stoneheart. It depends. I have mixed feelings about that. Lady Stoneheart, to on the one hand, it kind of undermines Catelyn's death. But depending on where they go with Lady Stoneheart in the books, it might be a damn shame they didn't include it in the show. But I can't agree with you that Dany and Meereen was boring. But I just think that was just poor planning, so the pacing was really off. The show died with the Night King. 100% agree with you there. Yeah, the show died with the Night King. And thanks for joining, Crocodilio. I mean, I think the show was... It was falling off in quality long before Season 8 ever premiered. So by the time Season 8 rolls around, it's the show's on life support. But that final dagger in the heart of it, that Valyrian steel dagger with the teleporting Arya, that episode was just... The death of the Night King was the death of Game of Thrones for me. That was when I knew that this show is done. That there's no way they can have a satisfying ending because they killed off the big bad and they symbolically killed off all of the main themes around the entire story. So, yeah, after that, it was done. Nunya says they ruined everything. That's the craziest part to me. And it's why I say I was surprised at how bad this season was. I didn't think it would be this bad. They ruined everything. Like, that's not even hyperbolic. I mean, they literally ruined everything. I can't think of one thing they didn't ruin. Everything is ruined. Everything that was great about Game of Thrones is ruined. If you guys can think of one thing that they didn't ruin, let me know. Amelia and Kit said in an interview they thought of each other as siblings. Yeah, that's what people who don't... That's what people who are in cordial relationships will tell you. I think they're professional and I think they're cordial, but I don't think they're not hanging out after shooting wraps up. They're not going and hanging out together. They don't really want to have anything to do with each other outside of work. Helvegan says, will Drogon set Jon on fire? Will he burn? I mean, he can't, can he? Shouldn't everyone realize at some point in his life that he's immune to fire? Well, Jon isn't immune to fire. We know that for a fact because he burns his hands on the lantern in season 1, I think, maybe season 2, where he throws it at the White to save Lord Commander Mormont. So, yeah, Jon is not immune to fire. We know that for a fact. And I don't think in the books Daenerys is actually quote-unquote immune to fire. I think there was just some magic shit that went on with the birth of her dragons. Jimmy Jones says, this finale didn't conclude shit. War is imminent once another kingdom demands independence. No word on how any of this is sustainable. Meanwhile, Arya Columbus is discovering India. Shaking my damn head. Yeah, it didn't conclude shit. And war absolutely isn't imminent, because once Bran dies, there's going to be another fucking war for the throne. Because they don't have a line of succession. And this was pre-planned, that, hey, we're not going to have a line of succession. Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense that at this meeting, it was only Sansa who pushed for independence. Yara was insisting on independence before, and so was Dorne. Dorne wanted to be independent. What the fuck is... Like, I was sitting there like, what the fuck is happening? But I guess, you know, Yara and the Prince of Dorne kind of forgot they wanted to be independent. Nunya says, supposedly HBO offered more time and more money for more seasons, but D&D chose to sell out for a played-out Star Wars franchise. Yeah, that's what happened. I think D&D were just kind of done with it. They didn't want to do it anymore. Yeah, and they went to Star Wars. I guess they were being paid better there. I don't know. But yeah, I think HBO would have renewed it for 1 million seasons had they asked. So yeah, I don't blame HBO for this. Frankly, I blame D&D. Jamie Lee says, thank you for joining the stream, Jamie Lee. I don't understand how a lot of people still like it. How they thought everything was great. I don't get how they thought everything was great. Yeah, I understand. I agree with you. If somebody legitimately says to me, "Oh, I think season 8 was good," I think there's something wrong with them. I cannot fathom. Like, I like to think that I'm an empathetic guy and can kind of see things from other people's point of view. But that's a point of view that I just can't abide. Raby760 says, Drogon flew off with the body. No one could have proved that Jon stabbed her, so Jon told the Unsullied what he did. Why? Well, because it's been set up that Jon never fucking lies. Because he's an idiot. Also, that scene where Drogon picks her up, I was like, what? The dragons don't have opposable thumbs. That was so strange. It's very strange. I mean, the effects were really good, but it was just kind of strange. It was weird. They literally made Dany the Mad Queen so that they could kill her off in the finale. Yeah, she just all of a sudden turns stone evil, and then she dies. There's nothing to it. She fucking just gets stabbed by Jon Snow. Nocti Spetros says, Theon had a cool ending. Yeah, he kind of did, but what was his purpose? Like, what was the point of, like... Because Arya killed the Night King, ultimately. If Arya would have just been, 10 seconds quicker, Theon didn't have to die. It was just kind of pointless. Like, he didn't actually change anything. Drafter says, Emilia Clarke and Kit Harington have been great friends for years. Emilia is friends with his wife. Yeah, that would make things awkward. Raby says, they didn't ruin Robb Stark. Yes, they did. Because that the entire war that Robb Stark was a part of, it's pointless now. They rendered everything that happened up to this point pointless. It didn't affect anything in the end. And also you say Daenerys is not immune to fire is a one-time miracle. Yeah, in the books, but in the show she's immune to fire. I lost my place in the chat again. McQueen. Lucius Cornelius Sulla Felix, thank you for joining. Tyrion was watered down from his book counterpart so much, I'm surprised he hasn't drowned in his own fluids. Jesus, that's a visual. Yeah, he's a lot smarter in the books because the writers on the show are too dumb to write him. Is Drogon gonna store and eat Dany in portions? That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. It's never addressed. Drogon just pieces out, and that's it. You never see him again. Bran does say, maybe I can find him. But who knows? Who knows? Eventually, they'll probably make like a sequel show where this stuff is addressed. But that's a long time from now, because they're working on the prequels first. So, I mean, we got a long time to wait for that. And I mean, who really cares anyway? Because people in general just want season 8 to be remade. They don't want a sequel made based off of it. They want it to be axed and remade. Ha! Cinnamon berries. The most menacing evil was defeated for walking too slow and killed by a girl using cheats. Yeah, Arya enabled God mode, and she teleported her character right above him. Yeah, GRM did want more seasons. Smart characters require smart seasons. I hope Bran was evil. Me too. Smart writers, sorry. His death was pointless, but he came full circle. Can we talk about how Arya is going to go discover the Earth isn't flat? Yeah, in principle, I don't have any problem with Arya sailing west of Westeros. She has expressed desires to kind of do that sort of thing before. I wish her character just wasn't destroyed, from like season 6 through 8. I wish she was just a consistent character, because I honestly just stopped caring about Arya. I loved Arya, and by the time season 8 came around, I just didn't give a shit. I couldn't care. If she died, I wouldn't feel anything. One way they could have made this abomination better was if Grey Worm demanded Jon's execution as a condition of coming to an agreement. That would have been more dramatic. And yes, I agree with you. That would have been better. There's a million things to make it better, because they're scraping the bottom of the fucking barrel with this episode. Question: can anyone rewatch early seasons with pleasure? That is a question. Yes. I think the early seasons still do hold up, and I would still recommend that people watch seasons 1 through 4. Seasons 1 through 4 are consistent with one another, and you just have to... And they follow the books pretty closely. I mean, there's a few things that are different. Season 4 starts to make a few more major changes. But generally speaking, they follow the books pretty closely. So, yeah, watch season 4 and then read the books for the rest. I think that's a valid option. Seasons 1 through 4 are great. And just pretend seasons 5 through 8 don't exist. Alright. What was your take on Tormund apparently holding Castle Black with the wildlings? Had Jon never returned, was he just going to hang and essentially be a bunch of wild crows? I don't know. Yeah, I was baffled by that. But by that point in the episode, I was just ready for it to be over. I was wondering, like, why the fuck are all these fucking wildlings on the... But I don't know. It didn't look like there's any Night's Watch left. Maybe there's, like, 1 or 2. The guys who led Jon back to the wall, I guess. But I don't know what the Night's Watch is for at this point. Patrick Anna says, I absolutely refuse to remember Game of Thrones this way. I'm going to binge seasons 1 through 4, and the last episode of season 4 would be the last time I watch Game of Thrones. That's how I want to remember this show. 100%. Drogon's probably heading to Old Valyria. Yeah. You are much smarter than the writers. All right. Well, if they make a sequel, Emilia Clarke and all the actors are going to be hella old and no more nude scenes. People saying Qyburn had a good ending. But Qyburn didn't have a good ending. But he had a funny ending. I mean, there was some entertainment value there. I hope maybe in 20 years, once Martin has all the books finished, if ever, HBO starts a spin-off and make a one-to-one book-alike. Yeah, I think it's pretty likely that eventually Game of Thrones gets remade. But yeah, that's something that's going to be like 20 years down the line. In the meantime, they're going to be doing the prequel shows, which I think there's a few in development right now. So I think that's something we're going to be getting in the meantime. And then eventually we'll get that remake, where I think they at that point they'll be more likely to do that one-to-one sort of, follow the books really closely. Season 1 of Game of Thrones actually followed book 1 very closely. Like 95% of it was exactly the same, and some of the lines in the show are actually the lines from the book verbatim. So season 1 was great. So if they just did that for the rest of the show, it would be good. Tom Waters, I was rewatching the series as season 8 started. I can tell you for sure that it's still good and then goes off a cliff. Yep. Around season 5, it goes off a cliff because George R. R. Martin leaves and he stops giving them advice. They ran out of book material too. And there's certain elements of season 5 and 6 that are good. And my contention is that the parts of season 5 and 6 that were actually good are the parts that were from the books. Because certain elements of those seasons are ahead of the books, but not all of it. Some of it is actually from the books, and those parts are good. Everything else is garbage. Okay, Virginia Hall, thanks for joining the stream. 3 endings I'm happy about. 1, Tyrion, Davos, Bronn, Brienne, and Sam. 2, Arya setting sail. 3, Sansa, good conclusion to her story arc. I can't be really happy about Tyrion or Davos or Bronn or Brienne or Sam because they've all had like these really inconsistent moments. Arya setting sail I'm fine with, but again, they've ruined her character as well. Sansa, good conclusion to her story arc. Yeah, I mean, it's a good conclusion, but the way they got there was just inconsistent, and it wasn't, in the end, it wasn't satisfying. Far too many people lived for me to believe that this is George's vision. Felt like it isn't. Yeah, I think you're probably right. A lot more people are going to die in the books. I think the show writers were a little bit afraid to kill off too many characters because now they're appealing to the normies, and the normie audience want characters to live. I don't think Game of Thrones will ever be remade, even if GRM lives that long outside of an anime. I mean, anime would be cool. I'd be fine with that. How do you get a better actor for Dany and Jon and Ned, Sansa? Yeah. I mean, that would be the main thing about remaking it that I wouldn't like, is that I think as far as casting goes, they nailed almost every actor. The casting in Game of Thrones was brilliant. So yeah, that would be a weird thing if they remade it and they had to get new actors. It's possible some of the actors could return, even in 20 years, but yeah, by and large, they'd have to get new actors, and that would be very weird. But again, 20 years down the line, we're all going to forget about this. Patty Cake Patty Pie says, what a great ending to the series. D&D are brilliant writers. Season 8 was a masterclass masterpiece. I don't think I'm the channel for you. Aaron Albino says, I want to start watching Westworld, but I have little faith in jumping into a series after this. And after Last Jedi, I'm scarred. Everything sucks in the end. I feel the same way. Yeah. I can't get in anything. Westworld, I mean, I like season 1. I think Westworld kind of goes off the rails in season 2, and if Game of Thrones is any indication of how these things go, it's just only going to get worse in season 3, so honestly, I'm not excited for it. I don't think it's going to be that good. And I think the writers of that show think they're a lot smarter than they are too. Feral Wave, how bad was that council scene? Terrible. Like, I thought the Clegane Bowl was bad in fanfiction, but holy fucking shit. That was bad. Oh my god, that was bad. Okay. What the fuck is Bronn Master of Coin for? Yeah, in earlier in the series, Tyrion pointed out that Bronn would borrow money and never pay it back. And Tyrion was like, and that's why I never lend you money. So yeah, that's like the worst choice for Master of Coin. Varun Mathor, the whole point of the wolves stick together. Yeah. And they all just peace out. Yep. The Starks all leave each other. Yeah. Fleek, according to interviews, George wants to live another 30 to 40 years. Kind of says a lot. Yeah, George R. R. Martin keeps saying this kind of stuff in interviews. He's like, after I finish A Song of Ice and Fire, I'll be alive for another 15 or 20 years, so I'll write many more books. And I'm like, George, you're fucking delusional. He's over 70. This is a man that doesn't want to cope with his own mortality. And that's a bad sign for anybody who wants the series to actually finish. Unfair and Lovely, thanks for joining the stream. What was the purpose of the white horse Arya rode off on? What did it symbolize? Waste of screen space. Nobody fucking knows. Even Arya, even Maisie Williams doesn't know. Like, she was in that behind the scenes, and she's like, yeah, the white horse is symbolic and beautiful. And it's like, well, for what? What does it symbolize? I don't think D&D know either. They're just like, people will think this is smart if we write it in. Season 2 isn't horrible, but much worse than 1. Oh, for a second there, I also thought you were talking about Game of Thrones, but you're talking about Westworld. Fair enough, yes. Che Hector says, thanks for joining the stream. Do you think George would go with quote-unquote Mad Danny in the books? And also, if Jon is resurrected, would he do the romance? I think that probably they got these ideas from George. So I think it's likely that Danny does go Mad Queen, but the lead up to it is going to be way different. And I also think it's pretty likely that Jon and Danny are going to do the romance thing. But on the other hand, D&D did add the romance with Talissa and Robb. Talissa's not a character that appears in the books. Robb marries a girl named Jane Westerling in the books, and he doesn't do it for love, he does it for honor. It's very different. And George actually complained about that. He says, I didn't write a romance. So I don't know if George R. R. Martin is against romances, or if he didn't write, what he meant was he didn't write a romance there, but he's planning one in the future. I don't know. We'll have to see. The horse symbolizes death in the Bible. Yeah, we get that, the pale mare, yeah. That may have been what they were going for, but on the other hand, I don't think D&D are that smart. Patty Cakes Patty Pie says, do you think having 10 episodes would have made a difference? No, I do not. Because the lead up to season 8 has been terrible, and that's why there's no possible way for it to pay off in a satisfactory way. Believe me, I think it could have been better, but it wouldn't have made such a significant difference that anybody would be able to consider season 8 good. Yeah, Tunk? I don't know. Thanks for joining the stream, though. Jon's story will be the same without him being a Targaryen. Yeah, R plus L equals J. Doesn't matter at all. It's fucking depressing. They wasted all of this setup. All right, I'm gonna skip ahead here. So Daenerys has this, Jon has this chat with Tyrion. It's a very long dialogue scene, actually, where Tyrion has to convince him to kill Daenerys, and Jon's not happy about it. But then there's this scene where Jon goes up to the Red Keep, and this is weird. Like, Drogon's hiding underneath this snow. I just thought that was weird. Like, okay, number one, that snow pile is not big enough to hide a fucking dragon. Number 2, it's not the right shape. But when Drogon, like shakes all the snow off of him, I was so impressed by that CGI. I honestly think no show does dragons as well as Game of Thrones. That the CGI is just fucking phenomenal. It's really, really, really impressive. So I just want to point that out. I just want to point out the writing may suck, but technically the show is very well made. It's very, very, very well made. All right, and now my thing's fucked up. It won't load. All right, we are refreshing. Yeah, so Jon goes to Daenerys, and strangely enough, even though she's mad, she is not paranoid whatsoever. She thinks everything's great, and I don't need any guards. There's no one who would want to kill me. And she doesn't distrust Jon Snow whatsoever. Doesn't make any fucking sense. But yeah, they're making a callback to the scene in season 2 when she had that vision, but she never actually touches the Iron Throne, which is to symbolize, in the vision, she never actually touches the Iron Throne, which is to symbolize that I think she will never actually be able to become queen. Here she touches it, kind of ruins that a little bit for me, but she dies immediately after, so not that bad. Not that bad. And look, she's like, so A+ acting job by Emilia Clarke here. I thought Bran would be revealed to be the Lord of Light. Well, Bran's not the Lord of Light, but he's an old god. He's one of the old gods. Ari Ordian, thanks for joining the stream. Now I want to read the books. You absolutely should. Books 1 through 3 are excellent and very tight, well-written stories. Books 4 and 5 they sprawl out a bit. The pacing, kind of takes a hit. Kind of weaker, but they're still miles better than season 8. Rednose 20,000 says, honestly, the dragons in Game of Thrones are not actually dragons. Dragons are defined by having multiple claws. The dragons in Game of Thrones are more akin to wyverns since they lack forearms. Yes, you're 100% correct, and I argue this with a lot of people because I am a dragon fan. I grew up on Yu-Gi-Oh! Blue Eyes, a White Dragon. So, yeah, you're 100% right. Dragons have forearms. These are wyverns. They are not dragons. I appreciate your pedanticism. It wasn't snowing before or during the battle. Everything burned. Suddenly, it's snow. Yeah, well, I think it's snow because they wanted that vision to come true. That's the only fucking reason. And here's Jon, and Daenerys just doesn't. She's like a fucking oblivious. That Jon's like, he's got like his I'm so sorry that I have to kill you face on. This is such a weird and awkward scene. Ugh, it just like makes me want to puke. Ugh. For a second there, I thought Jon was like going to fall back in love with Daenerys. And I was like, ugh, make it stop. But thank God I heard that blade sound, which is, by the way, that blade sound they always do, that sink sound, it's like, well, she's not wearing like chainmail or something, so it wouldn't make that sound when you stabbed her. Anyway, I just want to point out that the sound effect they use when anybody gets stabbed in any form of media, it's always that same sound effect, and it's not like, we've grown accustomed to believing that that's the being stabbed sound effect, but that's not what it sounds like when you're being stabbed. So I just want to point that out. Rednose 20,000 as a dragon enthusiast, it bothered me when they finally came out. I was sad, but they were damn adorable. Yes, yeah, the season 1 dragons, they were damn adorable. Even that part in episode, Jesus, I'm losing track of the episodes now. Episode 4, where Drogon's watching Rhaegal fly, like struggle to fly because he's got holes in his wing and he's injured. Like, they made Drogon cute again, which, you know, I appreciate that you can put expressions on the fucking CGI dragon's face, like, so precisely that I can kind of, like, I know what the dragon is thinking. That's very, very impressive to me. Ryan Gessner, seriously, why didn't he use Longclaw? I guess because that would be kind of impractical to kind of just... Hold on. GRM says he wanted to make his dragon realistic, and that's why he nixed their arms. I didn't know that GRM had any input as far as, like, the dragon designs. Because honestly, it seems like Martin doesn't care about the dragons that much. The dragons are almost an afterthought. They're sort of a plot device rather than, because even in the books, the dragons aren't really characters. They don't have distinct personalities or anything like that. They're just like animals that are useful to Daenerys, which is kind of annoying to me. Again, someone who, you know, was a big fan of like the inheritance cycle, Aragon, where the dragons are all just as intelligent as humans and they're characters, like they're actually characters. It would be nice to have the dragons be actual characters, even if they're not hyper intelligent. It'd be nice for them to have some distinct personalities. Yeah, and Timberwolf says, the sword didn't even light up on fire after prophecy denied. Yeah, Azor Ahai, that whole prophecy, bullshit. Fuck you for making theories about it. Fuck you for thinking about it. It was all bullshit. Yeah, what does the Matrix says? Shing! Yeah, the sound that apparently a dagger makes when you're stabbed with it. Wazo Bazo says Emilia Clarke as Hitler was a lot better than her as annoying liberator. No nuance needed in acting. They should have had her be Hitler a lot longer. She did a better job at it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Daenerys was never my favorite character. Fair enough. For a wave, all those years, details, development. For this, it's sickening. It's epic failure. Raby says, some believe dragons do not have a specific gender, while some believe they didn't know the gender of the dragon unless it laid an egg. What the hell? Where's my chat going? I don't know, is it ever I don't know if it's ever addressed, because I keep calling all the dragons he's, so I don't know if it's ever addressed what the genders of the dragons are. What if Drogon got Dany Prego? Too much? Yes. Too much for her, but just barely. Jon stabbed with the pointy end. It was cool to see the building collapse on Jaime and Cersei last week, only to find out it didn't. I like the dragon characterization. Do you not? No, I don't. They need a lot more distinct personality. I think if you're going to have like the best CGI ever for dragons, then you need to make the dragons better characters. Drogon might actually be able to lay eggs. Yeah, if the gender's never addressed, maybe Drogon's a she. Fuck if I know. Or maybe they're gender fluid or whatever. They subverted our expectations so much they made everything not make sense purposely. What happened with Dothraki? They just fucking disappeared because the writers didn't want to address them. They have male names, so they're boys. Did you watch Merlin? I was really tempted to watch Merlin because it has a dragon in it, but I started watching it and I'm like, damn, this show's silly, and I stopped. But maybe I'm wrong. To be fair, I didn't watch that much into it. Dothraki are like a clown car, always more. Yeah, they respawned after after the long night. Yeah, notice when Tyrion approached the bodies, there were lots of spots where bricks didn't land, meaning Cersei and Jaime could have survived. Yeah, if they had just, moved 10 feet to the right or left, they would have lived. Jaime's gold hand poking out, I guess that was supposed to be sad. I laughed. Yeah, it was kind of stupid. Very cliche and just silly. You say in the books they don't use dragons as characters. What my question was, do you like the show's way of dragons or the books? That's a tough question. I'd have to say the books, because at least in the books the dragons actually have names. And distinct colors. In the show, you don't even find out the dragons' names, I think, until season 6, like late in season 6. So yeah, I mean, they're just, in the show, they're just kind of there. So yeah, I think I'd have to say the books, but the books aren't very good either. I mean, when you compare it to, like, Aragon, where the dragons are characters. Do you think there needs to be more shows of dragons? Abso-fucking-lutely. And they need to put the special effects team that worked on this on that show. And if there's ever... I know there was an Aragon movie that nobody liked because it was terrible. By the way, just a quick aside here. I watched the Aragon movie before I read the Aragon book. And the Aragon movie, I thought was pretty good, when I first watched it. But then I read the book, and then I realized, like, all the missed potential and, everything they did wrong in the movie. So, fair enough. The book is a million times better than the movie. But yeah, if they ever make an inheritance cycle TV show, which I hope they do, I think that series is worthy of it. It would be awesome to have whoever did the CGI for the dragons on this, put them on that. That'd be awesome. I'd pay to see that. Clareby, Cersei literally had a tiny dab of blood on her face. Yeah, that whole sequence looked really fake and cartoony. It was like I was watching like a stage play almost. Like, clearly all of the rubble was styrofoam. It was just not well done. It seemed very kind of rushed and contrived, is the way I would put it. Yeah, why was Cersei's head not caved in? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Their bodies are in perfect condition for Tyrion to see them and cry. That was the whole purpose of that sequence. The odds. This is a city with 1 million people in it. The odds that Tyrion would find Cersei and Jaime's bodies are so fucking low that it's just comically absurd for him to just waltz into the Red Keep and they're like, oh, there they are. It's stupid. And that set the tone of the episode for me. Okay. So, oh, by the way, I also laughed at how Jon Snow was holding Emilia Clarke. Like, he was holding her by her waist. It was almost like the actor didn't want to, like, touch her. It was funny. He was holding her by the waist, and she was just like, ah. It made me laugh. There's a couple times in this episode that just made me laugh. That's not a good thing, because it's supposed to be serious. Michael A. says, great stream. Thank you, and thank you for joining the stream. Are you hopeful for the spin-off / prequel sans D&D? Am I hopeful? Yes. I don't have a ton of hope. Frankly, I doubt they'll be great, but I have a lot more hope than I do for this show. So yeah, putting that out there, yes, I think it's possible that those could be really good, but we'll have to see. I'm not putting my hopes up to 11. I'm keeping my hopes at a solid 2. But yeah, they might be really good. We'll have to see. And I think there's going to be more news on that pretty soon because HBO really, they want to play damage control with this and they don't want to lose the fan base. So probably within the next month or so, you'll probably hear an announcement for a prequel show coming out. I don't think it's going to be very long before we hear news on that. And we might even get a trailer this year for one. I think one of those prequel shows that they were doing or potentially doing, one of them has already started shooting. So yeah, they at least one prequel show is definitely 100% going to happen, and there might be more prequel shows. So yeah, we'll get news on that pretty soon, I think. Imagine how good that scene would be if he saw the utterly destroyed bodies of his siblings instead of two actors taking a nap. Yeah, they didn't. They wrote. They wrote that without thinking about it. It the yeah. If a building falls on you, your body gets fucking obliterated. You're crushed. Your skull's caved in. They're not just like. It looks like they're just taking a nap. I know it feels like we're just piling on here, but I do think there's an object lesson here in how not to adapt a sprawling epic narrative. Before season 8, no one mourned for the death of any other characters on screen. Yeah. How does Cersei sneak by the Hound? I mean, at that point, I think the Hound didn't like Cersei, but I don't think he really gave a shit one way or the other, and I think he knew he was going to die. She was going to die anyway, so he didn't try to pursue her. Fair enough. Yeah, when Sam presented Tyrion with a Song of Ice and Fire, I did a double take. Very funny, Dumb and Dumber. I was pissed. Like, that legitimately sparked anger in my soul. It's like to fucking put the Song of Ice and Fire label on this. It's like, fuck you. Fuck you. You will never measure up, D&D. Fuck off with that bullshit. Ryan Gessner says, way off topic here, but your username is Techno Guy. Could you recommend me a song/artist? Okay, well, the origin of the channel name is actually in technology, not like techno, because as Eminem said, nobody listens to techno. Although I don't have anything against techno. Is EDM considered techno? I actually don't know. My recommendation is Tetris by Decav 5. All right, reading down the comments here. Why didn't the Ironborn girl get into it with Arya when she told her she would cut her throat? She just shut her mouth. Yeah, and Yara doesn't know Arya, and I don't think she knows what Arya's capable of. I mean, maybe she does, but as far as I know, Yara doesn't know Arya, so Yara wouldn't just sit there. That's not within character. A city with 1 million people in it, yet many of the main characters just happen to meet up in the streets, which are strewn with the dead, but they're the only ones wandering about. Yeah, the entire plot of this episode was totally contrived. And just obviously and overtly so. They didn't even try to hide it. It was just like, okay, these are the beats the story needs to hit. So boom, 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 boom. Done. We're done. Remember Oberyn's face? The North remembers. The writers kind of forgot. Remember when Dumb and Dumber got stone drunk at the season 2 after party? They also started that before filing this season. Yeah, I think not even kidding. I think they may have been drunk the whole time they were writing this, because David Benioff at least is a fucking alcoholic. He never shows up to any event sober, so it wouldn't surprise me at all to find out that he was drunk the entire time they were in the writing room. I'm sure George would be distancing himself from the show now if he already hasn't. Yeah, I mean, he kind of has already done that. Oh, hello, Sifu. I appreciate... I'm pretty sure... I don't know if you're on my live stream, but you were on my stream with Anomaly, so I appreciate you stopping in. I think George is already he kind of distanced himself way back in, like, season 4. So, he kind of... I mean, he doesn't directly disparage the show. Although if he was under contract not to disparage until the show ended, it would be very interesting to hear his take now. But he never acted like he was a part of the show. after like season 4 or whatever. Okay, so I gotta do a quick edit on the video that I put up. So if you guys can just bear with me for like a minute while I do that, I would very much appreciate it. I just have to add at the end screen on all the videos, there's a card, which it helps drive traffic to other videos, and you kind of need to have it, or else you kind of lose a lot of that potential traffic. So YouTube Creator 101, guys. This is how YouTubing works. You make an end screen, right? So you have that little card at the end that has another recommended video, and then a lot of people will click it, and it will drive traffic to your other videos. So it's helpful to have, and also there's like a little subscribe button there as well. So you want to do that for all of your videos. All right, done. So Jamie Lee says he's involved in the prequel. That is good to hear. I hope they make him a fucking writer. Jazzy Ali says it was like they made a checklist and just checked every point off. Yeah. I think by season 8, D&D just don't care anymore. I think they had some passion early on, but by season 8, they're just checking ticks off a box. I still don't get how big I still don't get how big Kang's Landing actually is. Is it even possible to meet up on the streets of, say, Zagreb like that? No. Because that would be stupid. Where is Danny's body? Fuck if I know. Someplace in Ashai or something. College level fan fiction, 100%. No dialogue between anyone that there should have been dialogue with. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think the whole Jon and Tyrion dialogue scene was just kind of a waste. So I'm going to skip forward here. Oh, and by the way, I mean, I have to keep commenting from this. The CGI is so good. They like, look at this. This is very good. This is very good CGI, man. But yeah, Drogon. I don't know why Drogon doesn't kill Jon. I mean, okay, Targaryen blood, fair enough, but wasn't he loyal to his mother? Did he know that his mother turned into fucking literally Hitler? I don't know. It's never explained. It's never going to be explained. There probably is no explanation. But he melts the Iron Throne, but there still is an Iron Throne because they elect fucking Bran to be the king in about 25 minutes. So, I mean, that symbolism dies. And here we go. This is where Grey Worm takes Tyrion from his cell, and they do the same for Jon later. Why isn't he dead? Right? The only thing that Grey Worm knows is that Tyrion betrayed Daenerys in front of everyone. He admitted it, and now she's dead. Tyrion would be dead. Grey Worm would have executed him by now. I don't know how much time has passed, but Grey Worm would have executed him by now. Ryan Gessner, has the fanbase's outrage over the course of the season helped your channel grow? And how would you rate the algorithm's impact throughout the same time? Oh, you've gotten a ton of views, you're A+. Well, thank you very much. The answer to that, pretty much all of that is yes. The fanbase's outrage has helped my channel grow. I did not expect to get like 300,000 views or however many views I got on that long night rant. This is a channel where I think my best video ever got about 60,000, and that was over the course of like a couple years. So to get 300,000 views over the course of 1 week, like that was, that blew me away, which is why I started to make, I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to make more of these rants. That Long Night review, that was a passion project. I did not expect to make any money off of it. My channel wasn't monetized at the time. I did get remonetized thanks to the watch time that I got from that video, which is great. And yeah, the algorithm helps. One of the big reasons that this topic in particular was so good for me was because it's really controversial and everybody wants to comment on it. And YouTube's algorithm, the big things are watch time. How much of your video does a person watch through? And on a rant video, people are just enjoying, they're getting the catharsis out of it. And also engagement. So how many likes, dislikes are you getting, and how many comments are you getting? And on a topic like this, everybody wants to comment. So it really helps. I mean, frankly, there's a lot of great review videos, review channels out there that have also done very, very, very well. I don't know that my channel deserves as many views as it's gotten, but I'm happy for it, and I'm appreciative of all the success that has been handed to me. So thank you for that question. And by the way, if anybody wants to support the channel, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/technoguy3. And of course, while I'm live streaming, you guys can always super chat. That would be very much appreciated. I fully expect that after my next 2 Game of Thrones videos, my channel's really going to drop off in viewer base. I do plan on making more videos, but they're going to be fewer and farther between. The only reason I've been able to put out videos like I have been, because I do have a day job, is that I have been able to monetize them. So I've been slogging through it, to be honest with you. So yeah, after Game of Thrones is over and the hype around that dies off, it's going to be a lot harder to put out videos. So again, if you guys want to keep seeing, I really appreciate any monetary support. If you can, I have a Patreon, and of course, live streams, you can always super chat. So thanks for listening to that little aside there. Have you considered collaborating with other creators? Well, yes, I did a stream with Anomaly Inc. not that long ago, and I think I'm probably going to be back on his channel pretty soon. Tom Waters says, I honestly thought that after Sam gave his speech, I thought the entire group would erupt in a fevered support of the beauty of the democratic principles. No matter, it was still cringeworthy. Yes. That was the only part of the episode that I liked, because I was very fearful that they were going to just start heaping praise on democracy all of a sudden. And one of my central tenets is I'm a libertarian, guys. I don't believe technically in democracy. So I don't have the most favorable opinion of democracy to begin with, but even if I did, that would be very cringy in a show like this. Come on. So I was afraid that was going to happen, but thank God they all laughed him down. I mean, you're right, it was still cringy. Even with them laughing it down, it was still cringy just for them writing that in, but I'm glad that they weren't like, yes, democracy. We're going to move to democracy. Move forward. The real throne in the books is massive. It's a tower. Yeah, I think there's like, I don't know if that's literally 1,000 swords, but it's like 982 swords or something like that. It's a lot bigger in the books. MGTOW 101, Red Pill says, anybody here thinks the finale is trash? No, you're the only one. The finale is great. Back in Bit says, did you notice the Grey Worm teleport? Yes, I did. Yeah, he's executing Lannister soldiers, and then Jon goes to see Daenerys, and then he's there by the time Jon gets there. Makes no fucking sense. Again, small potatoes. Fans used to say, please don't kill my character, but now it's the exact opposite. What do you think happened? Well, they made all the characters inconsistent, so they symbolically killed them all. I mean, there's no real characters anymore. So it's better for them to die a literal death than die a symbolic character death. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, all of the characters have plot armor now. This used to be a show where characters didn't have plot armor. If characters made a mistake, a potentially lethal mistake, they would pay the price for it. There were consequences to actions in this series and in this story. That's how this used to work, but not anymore. So it ruins the story, and that's why people want their characters to die. I would have been much happier if literally everybody died during the Long Night and the Night King won. I would be much happier. So the people who are commenting on my videos saying, like on my Danny Isn't Mad video, people are commenting, "Oh, you just want a happy ending." No, I don't. In fact, I would have preferred if literally everyone died. I would prefer if she was dead right now. I don't want a fucking happy ending. I want a consistent ending that makes fucking sense. So fuck you. Not fuck you guys, I love you guys. Alright. It was a beautiful image, but I was Drogon buried under ash because fucking they wanted that cool shot. That's the only reason. Best part of the episode, you freed your brother and you slaughtered a city. Yeah, I did like that. That was a good comeback. It's like, yeah, well, good point. And then he takes his pin off and he throws it. Yeah, that was to me, that was probably the best part of the episode, other than the part where everybody laughs at Sam for suggesting democracy. Theory, Jon didn't kill Dany. In fact, it was Bran working through Arya with Jon's face. Arya got to kill the big bad because girl power. Well, you know, I don't think... I think that D&D are surface level feminists. So they're the type that would talk to a feminist and be like, yeah, we're feminists too. But on the other hand, they don't give a flying fuck about any of their female characters. Not really. They'll do the girl power trope when it benefits them, but they're perfectly 100% willing to just completely undermine a female character's character arc. So they don't have actual respect for these female characters. Where are we? Throne Room's also supposed to be much bigger. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, the show has budget constraints. The only good thing about 805, Season 8, Episode 5, was that it literally lowered my expectations for the finale so much that watching it was a near numb experience. Yeah, it would have been a lot painful if episodes 1 through 5 were good and then 6 was terrible. Alright, thank God it's all over. Yeah, I wish I saw more of the Faceless Men. Yeah, and that's even more lore that's just thrown away, thrown in the garbage, never addressed. In the book, the Faceless Men play a much bigger role. In fact, the Faceless Men are active in Old Town when Sam's training to be a maester. So, yeah, they have their own stuff that they're working on. I'm going to skip ahead here to that. Here we go. The stupid, idiotic meeting of the kingdoms. First thing I want to address here. Okay. Oh, Lord. Okay. So, number one, why are all these characters here? It doesn't make any sense. Number two, why is Tyrion alive? Why is Jon alive? Why hasn't Grey Worm executed them all? How did they get here in time to save Jon? Who the fuck is this guy? Who is this? I don't know. Is he from the Westerlands? Most of these characters don't represent a kingdom. They're just members of houses. But not all the houses for sure, because there's hundreds of houses. So why are there these characters here? How much thought was actually put into this? I went into the finale expecting to be angrier than a Dexter fan. Oh yeah, that was a show whose ending made me angry. Yeah, that's early subversion at work. There were 2 water bottles in the scene. Really? Can you guys send me the link to that? Like, link me an image of that. I'm curious. There were 2 water bottles in the scene. One by Sam's foot. Yeah, it just seems like everything has gotten a lot lazier. But D&D did direct this episode. They didn't just write it, they directed it. And they're not directors, which, you know, they shouldn't be directing it. So it wouldn't surprise me that they were that bad where they actually left water bottles in the scene where they're that incompetent. I haven't read any of George R. R. Martin's books, but I might look into it because I really do like A Song of Ice and Fire. Is one of them Howland Reed? Shut up. And a Gatorade. Water bottles on Bounding Into Comics website. Yeah, I'll Google that. I'll look that up. Ha! Yeah, I'm seeing the image of it now. Where is it? All right. I'll move that into view so the viewers here can see it. There's the Google image result that I got. Yeah, right there. There's a water bottle behind Sam's foot. This is the second time this has happened during the season. Holy shit. It's amazing that even on a technical level, they can't even get something like that right. Oh man, that's painful. That is painful. Really creepy ending. It was like seeing personalities of main characters hijacked by hive mind. Yeah, when they all say I, it's like now they have no personalities whatsoever. They're just like, I accept Bran as my ruler. Bran, who I've probably never met before. Half of these characters have never met Bran. They don't know who he is. He's a 15-year-old fucking weird kid with autism. What the fuck? Like, in Yara. Why would Yara accept him? Why, in the new Prince of Dorne, whoever the fuck he is, both of those kingdoms wanted independence from the throne, and now they're just like, yeah, fine. We'll accept this fucking weird autistic 15-year-old kid as our ruler. Yeah, whatever. Doesn't make any sense. It's like, oh, look, hey, there's like 1 or 2 characters over there we haven't assassinated yet. Let's fucking kill them too! There's not a single character left standing at the end of this show. There's a cameraman and shot in episode 5 too. Are you kidding me? Oh god, I gotta look that up too. That one's not coming up so easily for me. I'm seeing a lot of the water bottle thing. And there's actually an article that comes up from Vox. Game of Thrones water bottle mistake. Stole the series finale. Good. It's just people trying to cope. Make a joke out of it. And it's not as painful. We watched them war for years for the throne. And now they just hand it over to Bran the Broken. What the actual blank. Yep. You know all that stuff that happened for 8 seasons up till now? Well, none of that matters. That's what they're telling the audience. It's like, none of that matters. Here we are, this is how it ends. Fuck you. Alright. Yeah, they directed the episode. They did get that great shot of Dany with the dragon wings behind her. I thought it was cartoony as fuck. I mean, I kind of liked the shot, but it was also cartoony as fuck. When you realize Bran could have just gave Jon a pardon. Yeah, once he's the king, it's like you don't have to make those concessions anymore. He's already the fucking king. They did it for money. Yes, they did. What? Yeah. Why is Davos here? What the fuck is he lord of? And Tyrion gives a stupid little speech. Admiral Tully is here, which Sansa needlessly throws shade at him. I mean, I kind of feel bad for Admiral Tully. He was tortured by the Freys for like fucking years. He was separated from his family. Jaime threatened to throw his child into the sea. I mean, can we just be nicer to Admiral? He's not a bad guy, right? MGTOW 101, Red Pill. 2 questions. Why is Bronn Lord of Highgarden? And why the hell is Bran Stark King of Westeros? Imagine if you were told how this is how the series would end 3 years ago. Yeah. I brought this up in my episode 5 review. Imagine if someone told you that this is what was going to happen. They wouldn't have believed you. Everything that happens is absurd. And the fact that there's some people who are defending this, I cannot fathom. I cannot fathom defending this. Dario Naharis just went MIA after season 6. Yep. He played no role. He didn't matter. Danny's speech to the Unsullied Dothraki was better than the original German. I love you, Sin. How's the Night's Watch even a thing anymore? Season 8, nutshell, we did it for the lulz. Glad that Bronn was master of coin in the end. Now he can get that super build fund of rebuilding the brothels that King's Landing needs more than sewer systems. 4.5 on IMDb. Does that make it the lowest rated episode ever? I think that makes it the lowest rated episode ever. Let me skip ahead here. Alrighty. So guys, I'm going to sign off in about 15 minutes. Just so everyone's aware, these streams are kind of exhausting, but I will continue to answer viewer questions, and I want to finish off my rant about this. So, yeah, Tyrion gives his stupid little speech, and he turns to Bran. And at that moment, when Tyrion turns to Bran and says, "Bran the Broken," I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I had that same reaction with the Night King. I was just like, what? I still don't have words to say. Like, I don't have anything to say about this. This is just so over-the-top absurd that I don't know what to say about them electing Bran the King. It's just like, okay. They may as well have elected Hot Pie the King, and it would have elicited the same reaction from me. Was it snow or was it ash? It was ash at first, and then it was snow. Bran finishing Jaime's pages was nice. It was fine. There's there's a few parts in this episode I thought were fine, but the rest of it was just so insulting that I'm not going to give this episode any leeway. Why bother having an episode 6? They could have wrapped everything up in 10 minutes at the end of episode 5. Yeah, all they had to do was tick a few boxes, and that would have been it. Season also has a 37% audience score on RT. Thank God. They reused the shot of Jon petting Ghost from season 4. Are you serious? Because that wouldn't surprise me at this point. I couldn't wait to see what the Night King and his army were going to do to Westeros. I'm with you, buddy. Exhausting but necessary. Unnecessary evil. All right. So, yeah, and then Sansa is like, okay, that's fine. Bran's king, but the North is independent, and Bran's just like, yeah, okay. And the other kingdoms there aren't like, oh, wait a minute, we want to be independent too. Yara and Dorne, I guess they just kind of forgot about the fact that they wanted independence. And presumably, I mean, I don't know about the other kingdoms, but it seems like they would kind of want independence as well. John's locked up in a cell. He looks pretty sexy with that overgrown beard and hair and stuff. And yeah, here, look, the Red Keep is red again. Uday, yes, I did release the rant video. That is out. So after this stream is over, everybody can pile over there and watch that. The Red Keep is red again. Look at this shit. They went back to filming in Dubrovnik for this final episode, but the previous episode where Daenerys destroys King's Landing, that was a set in the parking lot in Northern Ireland. So, but they went back to Dubrovnik, and now the city looks different, and half of it's fucking rebuilt. Game of memes. Yeah, it's the one, memes live forever, so that's the one good thing we get out of D&D completely destroying my favorite show of all time. So, here is, this is mirrored, so over here is, fucking Grey Worm on the ship. He's going to Noth, and I think they gave the Unsullied some lands to settle on, which, okay, fair enough. I don't know why Grey Worm's going to Noth, to be honest. Maybe he's hoping to find another Missandei. But yeah, and they completely forget about the Dothraki. I guess the Dothraki are just out fucking raping and pillaging at this point. The writers kind of forgot. Okay. Bran called Westerosi Insurance and hired a restoration company to fix the Red Keep. Yeah, it was a quick job. What are the time skips in this episode? I'm so confused. Yeah, I had no fucking idea. How long is it between the point when Daenerys is killed to the meeting in the amphitheater? It's very unclear how much time has passed. Did they really reuse that shot from season 4? Yeah, I'm curious, so if somebody can answer, if somebody knows if that's true or not. I do believe they could have reused all of the footage of Jon Snow looking exhausted and bewildered, taken from the first battle he was in. Noth have poison butterflies, well, not in the show. Because in the show, we didn't mention it. The Dothraki left the server when they saw Dany left. I think Tyrion says it's been a few weeks. Maybe he did, but whatever. So here's this. And, okay, Maisie Williams. I like Maisie Williams. Mostly because she's kind of cute. But she has, like, one of two faces. She either does her, like, pouty, like, duck face, or she does her, like, cute little girl fucking, like... It's either this face or the pouty duck face. And it's annoying. And she only does that, like, after season 6. I think because D&D wanted, like, D&D started to write her like that. And they started encouraging this. And it's so annoying. They've ruined the character of Arya Stark by putting Maisie Williams into Arya Stark. This is not Arya Stark, this is fucking Maisie Williams. Yeah, longest winter. Yeah, 5 weeks later, spring is here. Again, they've destroyed the world building for the show. Destroyed it. And they didn't have it snowing during the battle in episode 5 because they were fucking lazy and they didn't want to film that. Did you see the water bottle at the feet of Sir Davos? Yeah. Yeah, we addressed that a little earlier in the stream. It doesn't make any sense why Arya is crying. She'd actually go visit Jon anytime. It's not like she's Frodo. Yeah, it is kind of strange. Like, what's west of Westeros? I don't know. Maybe she thinks she's just going to sail forever. But yeah, odds are she'll still be able to visit Jon later in life. My personal favorite theory is this episode was written by Catelyn Stark because all the surviving Stark kids end up great and Jon ends up abandoned and forgotten. Oh no. The Iron Bank really won no matter who sits down on the Iron Throne. Yes, the bankers always win in the end. All right. So yeah, so here's Jon piecing out. And okay, yeah. Brienne is a Kingsguard now. Fair enough. I'm fine with it. And she fills in Jaime's entry in that journal after they pass by Barristan, which should be empty because he doesn't do jack shit in the show. And then there's this. Oh, God, and then there's this. I swear to God, this is the worst fan fiction I've ever seen. I thought it couldn't get any worse than episode 5, but I was 100% fucking wrong. This scene where they have all of these characters in the small council meeting, it plays out like a parody. It's like a fucking cereal commercial where they hired all the actors to come in and they did a Game of Thrones parody and they thought it would be funny and entertaining and would sell fucking Frosted Flakes. This is so stupid. All of this is stupid. Also, why is Sam a Grand Maester? Doesn't it take like 20 years to become a fucking Grand Maester? Why is he a Grand Maester all of a sudden? Why is Bronn Master of Coin? Sir Davos is Master of Ships. Fine. He's relatively knowledgeable in that area, I guess. But I don't know. Jesus. This... I hate this scene. This is the worst scene in, like, the whole show. And then Bran comes in, and then Podrick is a Kingsguard now. Podrick is a fucking Kingsguard. He got a few months of training from Brienne, and now he's, like, the best fucking fighter in Westeros. He's a fucking Kingsguard now. Because fuck you, audience. Don't think about it. Oh, God. Grey Worm should have died. Him getting a happy ending kind of feels like a Nazi escaping to Argentina to live happily ever after. Sifu. Tyrion arranging chairs. Compelling TV. Yeah, they spent like a full minute on that, of him just arranging the chairs. Yeah, this fucking meeting, man. I hate this. It was literally like fan fiction scene. Yeah. It's bad fan fiction, too. Yeah, and Tyrion had to explain to Bronn how loans work, so he's Master of Coin. Makes fucking sense. And also, he is Lord of a kingdom now. He's Lord of the Reach, so he has Highgarden. Why does he need this title too? And what entitles him to this title? What has he done? I don't know. I hate everything about this. Everything about this is terrible. Press F to pay respects to all of the characters that we have lost. And when I say all of the characters, I mean all of the fucking characters. We've lost them all. Abulai, you thought this episode was decent? Well, you're wrong. Bronn went to the Citadel to get his economics degree during the time skip. Yeah, and Sam has received 25 years of Grand Maester training. How's that room even still standing? I don't know. I guess they ferried in some masons from Essos because Daenerys murdered all the masons from King's Landing. And then there's this scene where Jon goes back to the Night's Watch because fuck you, Jon. And it's all wildlings. I don't know. Again, I don't know why there is a Night's Watch anymore. What are they defending from? The Night King is dead. The White Walkers are gone. They've made peace with the wildlings. It seems to be all wildlings here. But, I mean, at least he gets a reunion with Tormund. And then they, oh yeah, and then Arya's on the ship. And then there's this Sansa coronation scene where she's queen of the North. Fine. I mean, I don't have any problems in principle with it. Arya's Columbusing to find India. Does Pod have to change the king's diaper? Oh no. Yeah, I never thought of that shit. I think the entire council is designed to destroy Westeros forever. If you add a laugh track, it's literally a sitcom. You're 100% right. Tunnels blocked, Tyrion moves 2 bricks, and all of a sudden it's open space. Yeah, I mean, even if we accept that it is possible to find the corpses of Jaime and Cersei Lannister, that it's going to take you all day to move those bricks, buddy. It's going to take you probably more than like 3 fucking seconds. The very reason that Tyrion gave why Jon would make a better ruler. The writers were like, hey, we can copy and paste that to Bran. Would have been nice to touch show Drogon at the end with Dany's body, especially since Bran said he was going to look for him. Yeah, I wish they did. I wish there was some closure to that, but we get nothing. You can say TWD is boring at some points, whatever, but at least compared to this, it's highly consistent. The Walking Dead is not a consistent show, but at this point, I guess I have to agree with you. Oh, excuse me. All right, here they... Queen in the North! Queen in the North! And then this is weird. I don't understand this at all. They go north of the Wall. I guess they're resettling the lands north of the Wall, which makes no sense because the wildlings were gifted the gift, which is our farmable land south of the Wall. What is the purpose of going back north of the Wall? Maybe symbolically it's because humanity is regaining lost territory or something like that, but I mean, from a story perspective, it doesn't make any sense. This is not narratively consistent. Yeah, and then and Jon's leading them for some reason. Jon's a new fucking recruit at this point. Why is he leading them? And then they just wander off into the woods, and that's how the show ends. Like, literally. There's the credits. They wander off in the woods. The fucking end. That was climactic. I don't know. Guys, I don't want to... Okay. I can't say I'm that disappointed in the series finale, because I was disappointed long before this and I knew this was coming. But objectively, this is terrible. Everything about this is terrible. I hate this. I'm sad that my favorite show is now... It has come to this. It's amazing how they brought what I would consider the best show on television to its knees and below. Like the worst of the worst TV shows are better than this. It's amazing the turn that the Game of Thrones took. So, yeah, I'm gonna sign off in about 5 minutes, but I'll take a little bit of time here to answer some more audience questions. And anybody who sends in super chats gets priority. So Abu Lai says, "What would y'all do? How would you end it?" My answer to that is that I not only would I end it entirely differently, but I would have done the setup required to get a consistent ending. I probably some of you have seen my live stream with Anomaly Inc., where I kind of go into detail on this, and I plan on making a video about this pretty soon. But one of the reasons that Sansa was fucked up was that rape scene in season 5 that kind of came out of the blue, and it kind of ruined her arc, because her arc seemed to be going in one direction, which was she was going to learn the game, how to play the game from Littlefinger and the Eyrie, but then they sell her off to the Boltons, just kind of out of the blue. The reason that happened was because they didn't set up Jane Poole early on, which was, in the books, is Sansa's best friend, who is the one who gets sold to the Boltons. So because they needed a replacement character, they just inserted Sansa. They just inserted her to where she didn't belong. And that fucked up her arc, and that made it so that she was an inconsistent character, and her climax could not possibly be consistent. So, basically what I'm saying is, they've fucked up a lot. And to say that Season 8 is bad is fine, but Season 8 was necessarily going to be bad because of how they set it up in the prior seasons, even as early as Season 1, because Jane Poole was not set up in Season 1. So, that needed to be done, and it wasn't. They didn't future-proof the show. What is the Matrix says, "Cheers, friend. Thank you for hosting our catharsis." You are very welcome, and thank you for the super chat. I hope to see you on the next stream. I thought the final shot would be Bran's eyes turning blue. I wish. But we're not going to get that. I mean, I've said this before. I love all the fan theories, and I was a fan theorizer. I was one of the people who... I didn't think that Littlefinger was actually going to still be alive in Season 8, but I was hoping there'd be something there, because he died off in such a stupid, anticlimactic way. But, no. They brought the show to its knees and below. That's the GOT quote, and not to mention, you give a whole new meaning to how they keep talking about bending the knee. Thank you. What season did you prefer, season 7 or 8? 7, absolutely, because Season 8 actively destroyed the lore for the show. It destroyed the story. It destroyed all of the characters. Season 7 was bad. I didn't like Season 7, but it, in comparison to Season 8, I mean, not even close. I would take a million Season 7s. And then Drogon starts talking. I wish there was something like that. I was joking that because they had done so much subversion that there's no way I was going to be able to predict what was going to happen in this episode. So it was like, there may as well just be an alien invasion. That would be as satisfying as anything else. There may as well be alien UFOs come down from the sky and they take over the Iron Throne. That would have been just as consistent as what happened. All right. How will the North sustain itself independently after that much loss? Sansa can't rule everything by herself. Does she have a hand or council? I think the North will be fine. I mean, they were an independent kingdom before the Targaryen conquest, so I think they'll be fine. And Sansa, even though it's unearned, is a competent ruler, and I'm sure she'll put good people beside her. Season 7 was at least kind of fun, and the battle was brilliantly executed. I'm not sure which battle you're talking about. Are you talking about a battle in Season 7? I did like when Daenerys swoops in and destroys the loot train. That was really good. I actually, literally, my wallpaper is that. So I really liked that scene, but a lot of that was just the catharsis because Daenerys had made so many stupid decisions following Tyrion's stupid advice up to that point that it was kind of catharsis to just see, oh yes, Daenerys is winning. Because she should have won from the very fucking beginning. All right, I'll give you guys 2 more audience questions and unlimited super chats, and then I will sign off because I am pretty tired and I got to work tomorrow. What was the third and final twist that D&D kept referring to? I have no fucking clue. No fucking clue. I mean, maybe that Daenerys goes mad, or is that one of the twists? Just want to say I love your Season 8 rants. I hate the Season 8 so much. Well, thank you. I appreciate your support, and you're welcome. When Sansa marries the noble from another house, the Starks are gone for good. Yeah. But Sansa will probably keep her name. Yeah. She's a strong, independent woman. She don't need no man. Mr. Yan, what if Bran was the evil genius behind all of it? Again, I wish, and that might be... If Bran becoming the king is what George R. R. Martin is going for, which it very well could be, again, I think in the books, something like that would be set up a lot better. But certainly, we would get a sense of him having ulterior motives or something. I mean, at least then there'd be something there. But again, as far as the show goes, I'm done theorizing. Fuck the show. I'm all about A Song of Ice and Fire, but fuck Game of Thrones. All right, guys. So I'm gonna give you one more audience question and unlimited super chats. So I'm gonna try to find a good one to respond to, and then I gotta peace off. Amelia Clark says she's getting a Starbucks deal post-season. Thank you for the stream. You're welcome. I'm glad that I can be help with to help you guys cope. All right. One more question, guys. Send in one more question. I'll answer that. Again, unlimited super chats, but one more question, and I'll answer that, and then I got to peace off. Or are you guys reluctant to answer questions because you want the stream to keep going? Thank you. All right. Do you like the water bottles more than the Starbucks cup? Yes, I do, because D&D directed this episode, so it's their fault. And I just love being able to pin that on D&D. Did anyone else flinch when Brienne closed the book with wet ink? Yes, I immediately thought that. Like, wait a minute. It's all gets the pages are going to be stuck together. All right, so do I watch The Expanse? No. Where was that? What was the one worst thing about this season? And that question is from What is the Matrix? Again, What is the Matrix? Thank you for your super chat, sir. And the other person who super chatted in today was Wisdom Minari. Thank you. I love you. I'll hope to see you on the next stream. So what's the one worst thing? I'm still gonna have to say it's the death of the Night King. The way they handled the Night King, that's the worst thing about this season. Like I've said before, that rant that I put out was a passion project. I didn't expect to make a dime out of that. And it's very rare that I can make a video unscripted, but that video was unscripted. It just, this shit was welling up inside of me, and it just poured out into that video. So, yeah, the death of the Night King, because what it symbolized to me was the death of the story. It's where they gave a big fuck you to the audience. It's where D&D said to everyone who was viewing Game of Thrones that we're not going to finish the story in a satisfying way. The lore is going to amount to nothing. The story arcs, the character arcs, it's all going to amount to nothing. And nothing fucking matters. So that's when I knew that this was not going to be satisfying in any way, shape, or form. And in fact, it was going to be far worse than I had ever imagined. So yeah, the death of the Night King, I think, is the worst. I wouldn't say it's a jump the shark moment, because I think Game of Thrones probably did that earlier on. But it's fucking... it's like... you're jumping a rocket propelled shark with a missile. It was bad. That's my least favorite part of any show I've ever seen in my entire life. What's the purpose of Varys? There is none. Just found your channel. Loved your rant. Agree with most of it. So much wasted channel. They did Jon so dirty. Never liked his character and felt bad for him. Well, thank you. Appreciate your support. Death of the Night King was the worst. Yes. Bless all of you who live literature and good storytelling. I assume you mean love. And yeah, and I hope that this is going to be a lesson to future story writers. It's going to be a lesson in what not to do. There are red priests that can resurrect Dany. Yeah, maybe. They may be going for that. Eventually, there will be a sequel, and they may do that. I don't know. It's the death of mythology, and Jon's End immortalized that. They sold out the audience. Hope at the end we will see some White Walkers. Nope. You thought there was something bigger than this? You're wrong. Rating for Season 8, negative 1 million out of 10. Now they're free to ruin Star Wars. Star Wars is already ruined. Thank you for streaming. You are very welcome. Thank you for viewing. When the Night King shattered, my dreams for this season shattered. All right, so guys, I thank everybody for watching the stream. If you want to support my channel, I have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/technoguy3. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I will be putting out a video within the next couple weeks, relatively long-form analysis video of why Game of Thrones went so wrong and how do we prevent that from happening in the future. So again, I thank everybody for tuning in. My rant video, if you haven't seen it, my rant video for the finale is up, and I'm just going to go ahead and link that in the chat for you guys. I really, really appreciate everyone coming on the stream again, and I'll see you soon.